Hey guys, David Holder here. We get questions all the time. One of the number one questions, I want to start a food plot and I don't know what I need to do it. First of all, you don't need a tractor this size. You can do it with something by hand. Just depends on how big a plot you want to do and how much work you want to put into it. When I first started doing this, I was doing it with I would go rent a little 3-foot deal that I pull behind my four-wheeler. Now I have a Ferminator that I pull behind my ATV. And so it's smaller than this one. This is a 6-footer, and the one that goes behind my ATV is a 4-footer. The first thing you got to do is figure out where you want to put your plots. Okay, some people want them in the timber, some people want to put them on the edge of a field. I don't typically put a lot of mine in the timber. I'm not trying to change where the deer are coming, and that's what I'm assuming is that most of you putting in food plots for deer. I'm not trying to change where they're going to go eat. I try to enhance wherever they're already eating. So let's just say you have some way to till the ground. What are you going to put in there? Okay, so where do you even begin? Well, the first thing that you want to do is take a soil sample. Okay, you want to pull a pH test and see, and you want to be as close to base as you can get, which is around a 6.5 to 7.5. If you're not, then work with your local co-op. Okay, find someone that, when I say co-op, if you don't know what a co-op is, your farm and seed place, the closest to you, they'll tell you what you can add to your soil to make it better. Okay, so be prepared to spend some money on things that go into the soil before you even put any seed into the ground. But then if you just want to try, there's lots of companies. Antler King's one that makes a throw and go type stuff, where you just basically go out there, break the soil up and cast it. And you can use a hand broadcaster. We still do. This Ferminator actually seeds for me, so I can do it all at once. But you can use just a hand one. You can throw it by hand. Just know that the less sophisticated or the less equipment that you use, the less successful it's going to be. That's okay. You can at least have something. So anyhow, if I'm going to plant, I got to figure out, now I know, okay, I need to break the ground. Second, I need to know what can I do to put stuff in there. There's two different things that you got to understand what they are, perennials and annuals. Okay, a perennial is something that when you plant it, it's going to come back year after year after year. Okay, that means clover, for instance, is a perennial, and it lasts 4 to 5 years. Alfalfa is another perennial. Brassicas is a term for all your radishes, your turnips. Those are all annuals. Those are things that every time you plant them, that they got to be replanted next year, or they won't come back. Okay, so keep that in mind when we're talking about annuals and perennials. If you want to not have a lot of work, plant a clover plot. Because once you plant that sucker, all you're going to need to do is mow it. Mow it and feed it. And what I mean by feed it is you're going to want to give it some fertilizer. Lots of companies are making the types of fertilizer to put on it. You can check with your local co-op. They'll tell you what to put on it. But once you get it there and it starts to grow, it'll start to get thicker and thicker the more you mow it. But let's say you want something that is strategically planted specifically to draw deer in at a certain time of the year. That's when most guys go to annuals. And what I mean by that is something that has a vegetable to it. And for instance, let's use brassicas, let's use a turnip or a radish. When I plant those, what will happen is the leaves come up and the bulb begins to grow under the ground. Deer will naturally eat the green leaves at certain times of the year, usually earlier than what they will go after the bulb. They won't go after that bulb until the first hard freeze, because what that does is brings the sugar into that plant. And then now they're after that, just like a kid with candy. So, and what we're looking for is, depending on where you live, is when is that first frost or that first freeze that's going to do that. For us here in Iowa, that means usually somewhere in October, we see that our annual plots are fantastic. And they're good for sometimes 2-3 months, depends on how well they come. One of the things that you can't do anything about is watering if you can, you're more power to you. But we're subject to here. When we plant this, we have to hope Mother Nature will give us the rain that we need. Most of your food plot products are not Roundup ready, meaning not like a farmer who goes out and he just plants corn or he plants beans and he doesn't care what grows in there because he's going to come back and spray that whole field and kill all of it. You can't do that with food plots. You got to be able to get, so hence the reason we're doing this one today, where we're disking this all up, starting all over, because we're going to let it start to green back up. When it starts to green back up, I'll come back and kill it all, and then I'll come back and plant on top of that. Okay, and then just go by your local co-op or even many of your seed companies. Everything's on the bag for you. So like on the back of this bag, it'll tell you, or on the front of it, there's two different places, how to put it in, instructions, planting directions and instructions, how deep to plant it, what kind of soil that you need to have as far as your pH, how to eliminate weeds. They give you all kinds of things to be helpful hints. And then many of them will give you like a picture or something of the states telling you when you should plant, because it changes according to where you live. So if you've been afraid to plant food plots, don't be. I'm telling you right now, there's nothing cooler. Well, I love to hunt deer, and I love to hunt deer in the timber, or I love to hunt deer on the edge of fields, whether I planted it or not. But there is something about seeing a big buck, or any deer for that matter, walk out in something that you planted yourself. So if you haven't tried putting in food plots, you need to start. And we're going to do several of these videos so we can go more in detail. This was just kind of a catch-all for everything to kind of get you guys started. Ask questions. Let us know what you're looking for. What do you want to know more about? And we'll try to film it for you and show it to you. This is what we do. This is me at work right now. I'm doing what I love to do, putting in a food plot.